all these amazing people. Are you happy to be here in person? Yes. We are so happy to be with you too. We have so much great content for you here, fantastic community activities, meet and greets at the community booth, and many, many sessions. We are just very grateful that you came out to Vegas to join us here at this show. It is my tremendous opportunity and pleasure to introduce the President of Collaborative Apps and Platforms, Jeff Teper. Jeff, come on out.
Thank you, Caruana. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here this morning. Thank all of you and welcome to the Microsoft 365 conference. It's such a great time to be in technology with all the innovation going on this year. And we couldn't be more excited that you're all joining us this week. Let me first start by thanking everyone, the customers, the partners, the attendees, the organizers, the speakers, and sponsors, for not just this event, but all the community events around the world that you participate in. This is truly the best community in tech, and with the pace of innovation going on, there has never been a better time to be a part of it. And we want to make that even easier than ever with our new communitydays.org initiative. This is where you can go and find your events in your local community, free or paid, or organize your own. This effort grew out of the work we've done over the years with SharePoint Saturdays and now encompasses all of Microsoft 365, Power Platform, Azure, and more. And so please join the community. It's the best place to stay connected and current with the pace of innovation. And let's talk about that. There's two mega trends going on in technology that are fundamentally transforming work. First is the shift to the cloud. The ability to get anywhere access to the latest collaboration tools to work inside and outside your organization are transforming organizations of all sizes. But even bigger is the shifts that are in process with AI. You know, we've been using machine learning and other similar techniques in our products for years, but the latest large language models and what they're enabling is truly profound, and we're excited to share that with you today. To a little bit of framing on how we think about this in Microsoft 365, let me recap where we've come from. It was over 15 years ago, 15 years in March, where Bill Gates announced that we would host Exchange and SharePoint for all organizations of all sizes. And since then, we've listened, we've learned, we've invested in new architectures, new experiences, management tools, platform that's evolved into Microsoft 365, where our goal is to combine best-of-breed collaboration tools with advanced security and compliance, again, for organizations of all sizes. An acceleration of Microsoft 365 grew and accelerated even further with the pandemic as organizations shifted to the cloud, both because of the benefits of best-in-class collaboration tools and the cost savings of 60% or more versus disparate tools that they were assembling together. Let's take a look at that momentum. Latest stats. Last week, we announced Microsoft Teams had passed 300 million monthly active users. Thank you. The fastest growing product we've ever done. The idea of a single, simple hub for teamwork that brings together all your tools in one place is really resonating. But we are not resting on our laurels. In fact, today, you'll see the innovations coming in the new Teams Desktop, the new Teams Premium, and the new Teams Copilot capabilities that'll take your collaboration to the next level. Underpinning Teams and the rest of Microsoft 365 innovation is SharePoint. And last month, we had the biggest month for SharePoint ever. It's growing faster than ever, over 200 petabytes of net new content, 2 billion documents a day being added to SharePoint in the cloud. And today, and I think I'm uniquely qualified to say this, is going to be our biggest UX unveil for SharePoint and associated lists and OneDrive experiences yet. So I can't wait to see what you think of it. Of course, Microsoft 365 is not just an application, but a platform where developers are integrating solutions to help users stay in their flow of work and to give IT a common control plane. And we're excited to share there's over 100,000 active apps integrated with Microsoft Teams, and that's growing incredibly fast. And this week, I'm very grateful my colleague Charles Lamanna is here to share the very latest on extending Microsoft 365 with the Power Platform and much more. But what inspires us is not the numbers, it's how organizations are using our technology, not just to change how they work, but to change the world. One example is Pfizer, large pharmaceutical company. Over 150,000 employees at Pfizer use Teams to bring new drugs to market faster than ever and to save millions of lives. But this technology is not just for big organizations. One of my favorite stories, Tony's Chocolonely. They're a chocolate company, wonderful products. I encourage you to try them out. But we're so proud that they are using Microsoft 365 to collaborate around the world so that in their industry, they can drive the elimination of child slave labor in cocoa farming and production completely. And as we mentioned, Microsoft 365 is not just an app, it's a platform for developers to streamline processes and grow their own businesses. And one of the stories we're very excited about is Workday, one of the largest SaaS vendors in the world, has told us in the last year they've tripled their user engagement through their integration with Microsoft Teams. And so as big as the shift has become with the cloud and all that momentum, AI is going to be even bigger. And while there's a long history here, I thought I'd start with one key milestone a few years ago, where we started working with OpenAI to build a large language model called Codex and an associated user experience called Copilot that would help developers be more productive. And we were blown away by the adoption of this. Over 88% of developers tells us GitHub Copilot helps them be more productive, and about 50% of the code that they write, those 88% of developers, has been contributed through that Copilot technology. And last year, we've been working on AI for a while in Microsoft 365. Last year, when we had a peak before most of you, at what would become GPT 3.5 and 4.0, we were really energized that we could do the same thing in transforming creativity and collaboration with these new large language models. And off to the races it was. You know, in my 30-year career at Microsoft, I don't think I've seen a period of more innovation than the last 6 months. In February, we announced Teams Premium and Viva for Sales, built on GPT 3.5. In March, we announced the Microsoft 365 Copilot, Microsoft Loop, the new Microsoft Teams, and the new Microsoft Security Copilot, all built on the new large language models. Followed it up in April with how Copilot was integrated across the Viva suite. And today, in a little bit, we're going to unveil how Copilot is going to help you design gorgeous new SharePoint sites. In a few more weeks, Rajesh Jha, who will be up in a minute, is going to unveil how we're going to have the Copilot technology expanded for developers to develop breakthrough experiences built on Microsoft 365. And so with that, it's a great segue for me to bring up Rajesh. He's my manager and the leader of the Experiences and Devices group at Microsoft. He's responsible for all of Microsoft 365, Windows, Surface, Bing, and much more. I've worked with Rajesh for a long time. He is an incredibly passionate and dedicated leader who's really unique in spanning his passion for customers and technology and large-scale organization change. So I was excited for him to join us here at this conference to share his perspective on the journey to the cloud and his vision for how AI will help people and organizations grow. So please join me in welcoming Rajesh to the stage.
Hey, Jeff. Good to
Hey,
see you.
Rajesh.
great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
And hello, an amazing community. I mean, I'm just so excited to be here with you all today.
Well, thanks for joining us. So I want to take you way back. Building 1, and it really, we have 100 plus buildings on campus, but this meeting actually was in Building 1, where we got together every week.
A windowless office.
Yes, in a windowless conference room. I think it was against the fire code. With Dave Thompson and Perry Clark, M365 core leader today. We were working on what was BPOS S&D at that time.
Yep.
So if you can look back and just share with us your perspective, what was going on at that time in the journey since those early days of the cloud?
Yeah, it's amazing to see, how, I remember, Jeff, you and I were in, I think 10 years ago, I forget which conference it was, and then we asked the room there for a show of hands of how many people were considering moving to the cloud. And I think it was probably maybe 20%?
At best, yeah.
At best.
And then I think you said not now, but ever.
Yeah.
And maybe 1 or 2 more hands went up.
And then 2 years later, it was like 80% of the customers there, they said, yeah, hey, we are really interested in moving to the cloud. So the biggest thing for us, if you reflect, was there were 2 big questions for us. Question number 1 is, moving to the cloud, should we start over? Should we build something new, native to the cloud, but obviously incompatible with what customers were using today at that point? And we decided very much, no, we're going to give our customers and our partners full compatibility. So we're going to move what they are using today and move that to the cloud and not give them a choice of incompatible and new and compatible and on-prem. So that was a big decision. And it was not obvious at that point in time that you could take products that were built for enterprise scale and make it work for the internet scale. And it was incredibly hard to go do that. But the feedback loop from the community and the customers and the direct accountability to our product teams for the quality of their service, that was a big part of it. The second one was, were customers ready? Did they trust that we would be able to deliver for them the security and the privacy and all the compliance? And that was just a journey for us to learn from our customers and our partners, what would it take to earn their trust? But I'm glad we went on that journey.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes hard to think back of the period where we're shipping every 3 years to now we're shipping all the time. Sort of another interesting moment, 2014, Satya becomes CEO.
Yep.
You join the SLT, working with Scott Guthrie, Satya and others. Microsoft's culture has changed a lot since when you and I just first joined it. Tell me about that and what organizations here can learn about culture and change management.
It was pretty interesting to see. Microsoft didn't fundamentally change in the 6 months before Satya to the 6 months after Satya. I mean, people were the same, our processes were the same, our businesses were the same, but the culture changed dramatically. And the big thing that Satya brought to the table was 2 things, actually. I remember us, you were in that room too, where he looked at us product leaders and he said, I don't want you to take any credit for past work. I want you to be held accountable for building products that your customers and your partners value going forward. The fact that we make the money we make is because of the work that happened 5 years ago. So he held us directly accountable for being customer obsessed and measure that customer obsession in terms of our customers' engagement with our products. That was a big change. And the second big change was, let's not be know-it-all, let's be learn-it-all. And he's modeled that very much so. Yeah. So I think those are the 2 core elements, and it was amazing to see how that unlocked just so much in terms of the human capital that we had in the company, just being focused on customer outcomes.
Yeah, that's great. What a difference.
Yeah.
And let me fast forward you to another meeting that he ran last fall, Building 34 this time, where he brought a bunch of us to the room to show us what was later known as GPT-4. And, I wish people here could see how you led our organization with tens of thousands of people to transform and shift on that bet. So tell me about what you thought when you saw the latest large language models and your approach to, sometimes you've called it controlled chaos. How we're moving together aligned in Microsoft 365, but we're not going to let anybody else outrun us. And so I think how you led us through from that moment was really fascinating, and I think people would be interested to hear about it.
Yeah. The first time I saw GPT-4, Bill was there, and Satya was there, Scott, Sam Altman, and the OpenAI team. We were looking at the GPT-4 model. And it was incredibly impressive. As many of you now know what it's capable of. I remember Bill saying he said it was the second most impressive thing he had seen in his entire life. And then he corrected himself and he said it's the joint most impressive thing that he had ever seen. And of course the question was, what was the most impressive thing? What was the other one, Bill? Yeah. And he talked about how the first time he saw a graphical user interface was the most impressive thing. And I agree with his assertion. Look, I've been in this industry a long time, and when I joined Microsoft, we were just at the heyday of taking the transition, the platform shift from what used to be very much command line world to graphical user interface. And I remember people used to line up around Circuit City, and I date myself and all the eggheads, to get our product and our software. And that was a platform shift that Microsoft called correctly, bet big on. Then the internet happened, and it was a big deal. Mobile happened, it was a big deal. But I don't think it was as big a change as AI is going to be. And Bill was exactly right. It is probably the most dramatically different thing we're going to go see. These stochastic models are not like any other computing paradigm. And it's very, very easy for people to take a look at these models and say, oh, it can't do this, or it hallucinates here. But with every platform shift, it's not what the platform cannot do that's important, it is what the platform can uniquely do. And this is the first time I feel this platform enables human beings to interact with computing in natural language. Everything else that we've done for 30 years is to work around that natural language interaction. And so that is a monumental shift. And we are very early in the journey, but already you see the dramatic changes in so many different workflows and user models and so on. So you remember when we had an internal meeting, and I said, look, I like order. I lead a large team, multiple businesses like order. But I want you all to go 100 miles an hour. It's okay to be chaotic. I have confidence in our processes that this chaos is not going to get through to our customers. So controlled chaos, that's what we said. Let's go. Let's go explore what this can uniquely do. Go unlock your teams. Go try stuff. But we've got some central downstream choke points like capacity and business model and release guidelines and so on. So you gotta trust, and when you look at taking AI into your organizations or into your solutions, it's okay. We just unleash creativity and then try and catch it downstream and bring order into it. If you try and bring order upstream, you're going to not fully realize the potential of this technology and the ability to go do stuff. Yeah. So. And by the way, it's not that we have it all figured out. Yeah. So we are still in the process, and I'm excited about what we can do here today, with this technology and this platform shift for our customers.
Yeah, no, it's great. One of my favorite meetings you run now is you call it the AI Big Rocks meeting. And going back to Satya's quote about being a learn-it-all, we get together with you a couple times a week. And just to compare the notes of what we've each learned in the last week about...
It is stunning.
We were talking last night about some of the latest things in semantic indices and vector databases and the core of Microsoft 365. And what did you learn? What did you learn? And it's great. One of the things we've been talking about lately, and sort of we'll wrap on with as the last question, is responsible AI. It's something you and I get asked about by customers a lot. So maybe you could share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just say... these stochastic models are, they are not predictive like the traditional way we would write software. And they are statistical models. And so it will reflect stuff that is in its data. So we have invested heavily in making sure, the technical term is alignment, to make sure that the models are grounded in facts and biased content or content that is made up is minimized or controlled. And so the way we build the checks for the responsible AI is both at the app tier, but also the operating system tier, which means Azure has a bunch of responsible AI built in, so anybody calling these large language models through through Azure gets the benefit of all the RAI, the responsible AI investments. Then in each of the co-pilots that we build, we put additional layers in. But there's one additional thing where I feel, at least in the work context, in the business context, the responsible AI is an easier, more tractable problem, is because if you think about, and you will see some of the demos today of the co-pilots, these co-pilots you're going to see in the work context, they are ground in your content, in your data. It is summarizing your SharePoint documents. It is summarizing your contracts. It is trying to generate the next business proposal based on a past business proposal. So the model is being used as a reasoning engine, not, remember these models can both do generation, and that's where the responsible AI, I think, is the most important to get right, because you're asking the model to generate something without grounding. But these models can be amazing reasoning engines and natural language interpreters, in which case, you're grounding this in your data and your context. So responsible AI, with any platform shift, you're going to have to make sure that the safety, the security, the privacy, the copyright considerations are all rock solid, and so we're spending an enormous amount of time on that.
Great. Well, thank you, Rajesh.
Well,
thank you for
Jeff.
joining us. It's so great that you could come see the
Thank you,
event.
everybody. Thank you, Jeff. Have a
Appreciate
great
it.
conference. Yeah.
Thanks. And do tune in or show up to Build in a few weeks, where Rajesh has some pretty amazing next wave announcements on our work on AI. And so now let's get into the products. I'm very excited. Sometimes at this event, whether I want them to or not, people introduce me as the father of SharePoint. And so I get to turn the tables for a change. And so I'm very excited as we head into the next set of the keynote to introduce my colleague, my good friend, and the mother of Microsoft 365 Copilot, Sumit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sumit.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff has been a fantastic mentor to me through my entire career at Microsoft, and I'm really grateful to be here, Jeff.
Thank you. I'm so proud of the work you and your team has done, and I can't wait for you to show it off to everybody here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, I am really excited to be here today. And the reason I'm really excited to be here today is because I get to hang out with the people who have been so instrumental in bringing all of the work me and my team does with our customers to life. So thank you, everyone, for coming here today. Let's get, okay. Look, I love our tools. I've worked on the productivity tools for over 2 decades, starting with my first line of code in Excel. And I really, truly think that they are very versatile and with thousands of commands to help you get your work done. I don't think there's any other tool in the planet that's as versatile and as productive as some of our tools are. But I also know that our tools frustrate you. They frustrate me. Jeff introduced me as the mother of Copilot, and so for all the parents in this room here, including that little boy who screamed his lungs out on the flight to Vegas, I know how frustrating this is. I know. And, Copilot really gives us this chance to reduce and assuage that feeling of frustration that you have with our products. So what exactly is Copilot? Copilot combines 3 things. It's the power of the large language models, combined with your data in the graph. That's your data, calendars, docs, emails, conversations, chats, and Microsoft 365 apps. All accessed through the power of natural language to make your words the most powerful productivity tool on the planet. Copilot, the question I get asked often is, how is Copilot integrated in M365? Like, how did you think about this? It's integrated in Microsoft 365 in two ways. First, it's embedded in all of the apps that millions of people use and love every day. So you can be more creative in Word, you can be more analytical in Excel, more expressive in PowerPoint, productive in Outlook, collaborative in Teams, and so on and so forth. But we didn't stop there. We are introducing an entirely new experience called the Business Chat. Now, Business Chat works across all your data and apps to help you do things that you haven't been able to do before. I'll give you an example. Let's say, I wanted to send a status update to my teams because my boss, Rajesh, keeps asking me every day, what's the update on the plan to roll out Copilot? And I can ask Business Chat to create me a status update based on all the conversations, the relevant meetings, the chats, the documents, and it'll generate a nice report for him that I can then send off to Rajesh or my team. So with that, I want to walk you through a set of product demos, and I hope this really brings to life Copilot in action for you. So the first demo here that I want to show you is Word. Now, suspend judgment for a second, and let's imagine, I work at a global manufacturing company, and I have an opportunity to expand my business. I want to create a rock-solid presentation, and I don't have time for writer's block. Copilot goes to work based on existing documents and creates a great first draft. Now, remember, you're always in charge with Copilot. You have agency to keep, discard, or modify the changes. In this case, Copilot is also helping me create a document based on an existing document that I really like. It's a format I use. It can also generate short summaries. I can also ask Copilot to strengthen my document. It'll generate an FAQ, and it'll even put it in the document for me. Now, let's look at Copilot. Now, I'm sure everyone has had that moment, when you have a great document, and you want to turn it into a customer-ready presentation. Now, using just your words, you can turn Word into PowerPoint and PowerPoint into Word. Now, Copilot in PowerPoint not only creates a stunning deck for you, but it can also go to work with you to modify the details. For example, create a new slide, or format a slide, or polish a slide, or you want to change the font across the deck, all done through natural language. And I don't know about you, but animation is not my strong suit. So Copilot just created animations for me and added speaker notes. I kid you not, speaker notes. And I actually use the speaker notes to prep for this presentation today. Okay, jumping into Excel. Now, Excel, we all love Excel. It's an amazing app. It's really powerful, but it's really hard to learn and master. Copilot will put all of the amazing capabilities of Excel at your fingertips. So, jumping back into this example, let's say I wanted to analyze a customer sales data. You can ask Copilot to look at this table of data and identify 3 key trends. Copilot will generate that, and then you can ask follow-up questions of Copilot. You can ask it to give more details about one of the trends, and Copilot creates another sheet with all of that analysis. And you can keep having that conversation. In this case, I want to ask Copilot, why did the sales decline in the last quarter? And what Copilot does, it adds a little bit of formatting and color to make the data jump in the slides. You can keep digging further. Copilot can even create a separate model to do more analysis without modifying the data that you have in your existing sheet. It can add charts, graphs, things that are really hard to do in Excel for the mere model. With that, let me jump into Outlook. Now, Copilot superpowers are not only in content creation, but in content synthesis and summarization as well. We all suffer from the soul-crushing experience of having to wake up in the morning and process our inbox. I hate it. And the reality of work today is that information is only exploding every second. Meetings are synchronous, asynchronous, more content is getting generated, richer content. Copilot can help you triage all of that information so you can focus on the most important work and save you hours of time. And Copilot is also available on the mobile on the go. So you can create summaries of long threads or generate drafts from existing documents on your phone. Imagine that. I don't know about you, but I do a lot of my emails on the phone, and it's a real pain to type on the phone. OK, I'm really excited to show this one because I haven't shown this demo before, and I really think it brings together all of the superpowers of Copilot in a very cohesive way. Triaging content, recalling information, and creating content. So let's look at OneNote in action. Now, one thing I wanted to call out is how we made sure that human agency is at a premium in all of these scenarios. And we continuously emphasize with the user that they must check and verify and hone and polish the outcome from Copilot. And customers have given a feedback that they've really appreciated what Copilot does. And Copilot is not going to get it right all the time. But even when it is wrong, it is usefully wrong. And another key learning for us is that customers find it really easy to have an interaction with the Copilot to turn something that is usefully wrong into something that is meaningfully right. And I'm going to play one last demo here of Copilot in Chat and Loop. Let's watch it.
Copilot can help you stay on top of it all, summarizing Teams chats so you quickly see what you missed. Here you were asked for an update on the customer, and Copilot can help there too. You can simply ask Copilot to create a summary of all the customer conversations. It produces a summary with citations so that you can verify the details, refine it as needed, and post your update. You just received an invitation to brainstorm in a Loop workspace. Loop is a multiplayer collaboration canvas with Copilot as an AI peer along with everyone else. Here the team is collaborating in real time on product offers and pricing, adding notes and action items to keep everyone on track and up to date. You can ask Copilot to create a dataset from Excel on the top-selling products by category, and it will analyze and fetch the relevant data and compile it in a table. Since this is a Loop component, another member of your team can jump in and add a column for proposed discounts. Copilot even populates the data based on the specific instruction. Anyone can prompt Copilot to build on each other's ideas collaboratively, so that everyone can see from the prompt history how it arrived at the current state, with the option of undoing any instruction. Now you can close out the action item and get ready to meet with a customer.
OK, let's jump into the next section. Yeah, I can't tell you how intensely the teams have been working over the last 7 months or longer than that to bring all of this to life. And I cannot wait for all of you to have access to it and give us feedback. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. I often get asked, and in fact, on the plane, I was sitting next to somebody, and they were asking me, so what did you guys do? Did you just take ChatGPT and hook it up to the M365 apps? No, no. I wish it were that simple. We've been working on this for years leading up to this moment. And so I want to explain to you how Copilot works under the hood. So the first step in the Copilot orchestration is the natural language command, or whatever you want to get done, that you type into the Copilot window, either in the chat or on the canvas. Next, what happens is, before we send that prompt to the LLM, we have to ground it in your context. So the question next question is, okay, what the hell is grounding? So grounding, put simply, is a process that improves the ability of the LLM to give you an answer or a response that is relevant and actionable. It's how we control hallucination. And one of the most important aspects of grounding is making a call to the Microsoft Graph to get your business context and business data. Okay, so what happens next? Now, what is in the graph? It's all of your data, your chats, your calendar, your conversations, your emails, your documents. And this is what makes the response unique to you and grounded in the answers that you are looking for. And during this retrieval process from the graph, and in fact, throughout this orchestration process, we make absolutely sure that we adhere to our security and privacy commitments. We don't leak your data. Now, next what happens is Copilot then uses the data from the graph and some other input to modify the response that it then sends over to the large language model. You're familiar with the large language model capabilities. You know, you got to be living under a rock if you haven't played with ChatGPT or Bing Chat. And what we also do is, in addition to sending this modified prompt, we ask the LLM to generate an abstract definition of how to drive the applications. So for example, let's say you have a prompt. Let's say I want to create a really polished animated deck based on, you know, all of the changes that I made to the M365 Copilot strategy over the last 2 weeks, and I want to send it over to my team. We need to generate a set of commands that will drive PowerPoint to create that deck with the content that we retrieve from the graph and fed to the large language model. Okay? And so the modified prompt, all of that goes to LLM, and once it comes back, there is some post-processing that happens. This is where we do the REI checks, the security evaluation, making sure, again, all of our enterprise commitments, you know, we hold to those. And like I said, throughout this orchestration process, REI, security, compliance, privacy, you know, we make sure that all of that is taken into account. And the final step, of course, the response goes back to the M365 apps, and we take the commands, apply to the applications, we take the data and massage it and put it in the document. And so what Copilot has done is iteratively, it processes and orchestrates a very sophisticated set of services to produce something that truly feels like magic. Like I said, I cannot contain my excited. I am really, really excited. You know, the response that we've gotten after the initial rollout has just been fantastic, fantastic. In my entire career at Microsoft, I haven't seen this much demand for our productivity tools. And, you know, look, we are just getting started on our journey. There is a lot to learn here, but we are deeply, deeply committed to learning, iterating, and adapting to make sure that we can create a very bright future for work with AI. Thank you. Next up, I want to invite my colleague and friend, Sumi Singh, Superwoman, who runs the Teams engineering organization. Sumi, come on up.
Lovely. You did great. Thank you. Thank you, Sumit, for that warm welcome and for that amazing, amazing session showing us what the future of AI looks like.
Thank you,
Sumit has been a role model, mentor, and coach to many, including me, and I am just so proud of how she is redefining the future of productivity. Hello, everybody. I am so very thrilled to be here to represent the great work of the Teams organization and show you all of what we are up to, what we have done, and what's coming up next. In Teams, we have a unique approach to bringing collaboration tools from within Microsoft outside the organization, as well as custom applications, all in one place so that you can accomplish all your tasks quickly, seamlessly, without disruption. And we are very, very grateful, as Jeff Teper mentioned earlier, for crossing more than 300 million monthly active users in Teams, just as we celebrated our 6th birthday. It's a huge milestone. Yeah. But we are not done. We have a lot coming up. We are not resting on our laurels. We have a lot coming up. And in fact, you probably heard in March, a few weeks ago, we launched the next generation of Teams and Teams Client, which I am so thrilled to be telling you more about today. The new Teams Client, as I said, we were not resting on our laurels. We really, really grounded ourselves in user feedback and customer feedback. And the feedback was clear. App responsiveness, latency, meeting join times, all of those were fundamental things that our customers needed and wanted. While we made incremental improvements in the classic Teams client over the past year, we did not want to stop there. The new Teams client has been re-architected from the ground up to be simpler, faster, and more flexible. It is built on modern technology stacks, it has the right architectural patterns, and really has set up the stage for all of the future innovation that you will see. Let me show you some numbers which kind of tell you the results are spectacular with this redesign. As you can see, join meetings, app launches, installation, it's 2 to 3 times faster. Common activities like switching, almost 2 times faster. All of this with reduced resource consumption. But this is not just us telling you. This is actually data that was verified by an independent third-party benchmarking firm. And we did not just go about and obsess over these metrics in isolation. We put ourselves in our customers' shoes. We went with them on the journeys and saw which actions, interactions they do the most. For example, most of our users navigate and click across different channels, chats, and activity feeds tens of thousands of times in a month, which means you need really, really fast, responsive interaction and scrolling. I will show you the video that demonstrates this. Look at the scrolling performance out here. It is fast and smooth. Similarly, the channel switching speed, as I mentioned, 2 times faster. Meeting join load times, 2 times faster, so you can get going to that first meeting that you're running late on in the morning. I do that a lot. Memory reduction, 50% less memory, so that your other apps have access to that additional memory, but also for the Teams client to work on a multitude of different devices. It's not just about the fundamentals and responsiveness. The design plays a huge part in this. And as you can see, we have used the Fluent 2 design system with the new teams, with greater focus on light, depth, motion, and materials. The softed corners, the gradients, all of these make it a much more sophisticated and tactile design system that helps create a more modern look, but most importantly, it helps our experience feel softer and puts content front and center. And with features like theming, it enables you to put your own personal touch and look and feel into your team's app. We are very, very excited with this simpler design and hope you feel that too. We have also redesigned our channels experience for it to be more like a feed, which most of our users are accustomed to with conversations from top to bottom. And not just that, we also are introducing the new Discover feed, which brings all of the conversations that matter all in one place, so that you can just scroll through a simple list rather than continue to try to find it across multiple channels and feeds. But it's not just... Yeah, that hit a chord. But it's not just our chats and teams and channels that are getting this makeover. Our meetings are continuing to become simpler with improved stage grids and better organized menus. And our presenter view is getting a complete overhaul to help presenters present with confidence without missing any critical activity, participants, and notifications. But one of our biggest advancements in new teams is the added flexibility that you get with multiple accounts and multiple tenants, or what we fondly call MTMA. We have heard from many of you how hard it is to collaborate across multiple organizations and accounts. Well, let me show you how easy we have made this. Now, adding a new account is simple. It's just a few clicks of a button, and you're able to have all of these accounts across multiple tenants going and all in one place. But not only that, you can get notifications, whether it's calls, mentions, from other accounts while you are in your current account without the need to switch over. That is a game changer. You can seamlessly switch between your accounts. It's as simple as a click of a button. No more signing out, signing in, waiting for the thing to load. It's all there. It is so smooth and responsive. And it also allows you to automatically join meetings with the right account. So you don't have to fumble around just before starting the meeting to figure out what that account is. With multiple tenants and with the multi-tenant, multi-account features, we hope you are getting greater flexibility, breaking down silos, all in the quest that we have in Teams for boundary-less collaboration. I spoke a lot about Teams. We also, the new Teams client, we also have Teams Premium, which is an add-on that brings the latest technology to make meetings more intelligent, burst protected, and engaging. And this personalized experience helps you reach your customers and audience in a way that helps you save money and grow your business. For example, we have virtual appointments. Virtual appointments provides your business the ability to engage with their customers in a seamless and personalized manner. You can set up and manage scheduled, on-demand appointments with advanced capabilities such as queuing and pre-appointment chat capabilities. Your attendees get a simple link, which they just click on, sign on, and boom, they are in their virtual appointment in a completely personalized, branded virtual lobby, waiting while the facilitator comes in. This is all without the need to actually download anything. It's in the mobile browser. Once the meeting is done, they receive a survey feedback link to follow up. Virtual appointments enables you to truly engage with your customers in a way that is very personal, seamless, customized, almost like you were together in person. And it's not just with virtual appointments. I'm sure many of you, like me, are in multiple meetings during the day, oftentimes double or triple booked in meetings, and wanting to be in all those meetings all at once. Well, now, with Teams Premium, you can. You just follow a meeting for that button to let the meeting organizer know that you can't attend but would like to get a recap of the meeting so you can stay on top of anything that you missed. Once the meeting is over, you get a notification in your activity feed saying the recap is ready. Clicking the recap takes you to this intelligent recap, which has meeting chapters, a summary of notes, action items, all of the content and notes all in one place. But that's not all. You can make this intelligent recap even smarter with Copilot now. Maybe I want to better understand some aspects of the meeting. No problem. Just ask Copilot. You can use the provided prompts that we have, or you can ask your own questions. Copilot summarizes the answer and even links to the citations in the transcript. Imagine how much time your teams will save. And you can also use Copilot in real time while in the meeting experience. You join a meeting a few minutes late, I always do, no problem. Just catch up on what you missed by asking Copilot to provide a recap. You don't need to ask the other attendees. You can ask questions such as the tone of the meeting, what questions are unresolved, and things like that. It makes the meeting so much more richer. It's not just about listening to what everyone is saying, but it prompts the second level of discussions. I have enjoyed coming up with questions to ask Copilot in meetings. Some of my favorite ones are, how are people feeling? I like to see people leave the meeting with a good vibe. So that's one of my favorite ones. Another one, how does my boss, Jeff Teper, feel about the outcome of this meeting? Although I don't think I need Copilot to tell me. He's pretty transparent. I know what he feels about the outcome of the meeting. But we have been using this at work, and this has been a complete game changer, and I cannot wait for all of you to use it. Wow, there is so much more still coming. So we are also excited to make collaboration more creative, engaging, and fun. And for that, we have Microsoft Mesh, which provides immersive experiences across desktops and headsets. We are continuously experimenting, integrating with AI, 3D, and creating avatars, meetings, and custom worlds to connect and communicate on important problems. Let me show you where we are at.
With avatars for Microsoft Teams, you can meet in a whole new way. Choose how to express yourself with customizable avatars and reactions. Include more people in the conversation, whether they need a break due to video fatigue, or they just feel more comfortable with their video off. Add a new layer of choice to your virtual meetings. Connect like never before with avatars for Microsoft Teams.
Woohoo! I love that every time. The avatars get me every time. So, I hope you've gotten a small taste of all of the wonderful goodness that is coming along in Teams and our products. If there is three things that I want to leave you with, it is these three words: simple, fast, flexible. It is the foundation of the new Teams. It is the foundation for how you do work. And so we hope you try the new Teams client, which is in preview. You toggle in, opt in into the experience, and provide us feedback so that we can continue to make Teams the best product there is to satisfy all your needs. We also have many sessions today, including What's New, which you can attend and learn more, and also many, many booths that you can see all of the goodness that I showed you. So now, back to Jeff, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Sumi.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I love your passion about every day in the team. She's driving the balance of both focus on fundamentals and new innovations like you saw with Copilot. We're excited for all of you, as she said, to try out the new teams. Okay, we've shown a lot, but honestly, we are just getting started. It's now time to talk about SharePoint, the most flexible cloud platform in tech. And again, today, we're going to take the biggest leap forward yet in the experiences for SharePoint, lists, core OneDrive and files, and the Syntex AI work built on top of SharePoint. And so I'm very excited to get going with a whole set of things we have not shown anywhere else before with Jason Moore. Jason, let's kick it off.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, good morning. I'm so excited to be here and see you all. It's a little overwhelming, I'll be honest. I'm incredibly excited for us to be back in person. I think, yeah, that works, some applause. I'm also incredibly nervous. I'm following Jeff, Sumit, Sumi. These are top-tier technologists, leaders, phenomenal presenters. So I thought, maybe as an exercise, just work the mystical bonds of audience and presenter. We might try something a little bit just to get there. Because you all have been applauding, and I know you've been applauding for a bit, but I thought maybe we could practice a little bit and try the dial at some different notches. So for example, I said, if I went to 10% on the applause, what would that sound like? Okay, it's good. That's really good. 50? And if we jammed it all the way up to 11? Okay. So we'll keep it there for the rest of the show. All right. Let's start with talking about lists. I always like to talk about lists. I like to show lists off because it's actually how we run our team, everything from individual projects to big global processes. And one of the big parts of that is being able to collaborate with it. So you'll notice in the list experience here a bunch of updates. For those of you already using it, and if you haven't before, it'll feel pretty fresh. We've improved navigation. Performance is twice as fast at loading those lists in the experience. And the whole experience is just more seamless and fluid. But one of the things that I'm most excited about is that it really stays out of the way as you work with it, like dragging content in, for example. And as part of collaboration, we're bringing in real-time presence and integrating that into the overall list experience. So I'll be able to see people when I'm working with them in the same list. And when they make updates, I'll see those in real time right away in my list. It's a pretty exciting capability. Now, that's okay. That's a point for applause. I know we practiced it. I'll call for it. I'm teasing. You guys are doing great. One of the most important challenges, of course, with content is collecting it. It's a giant pain sometimes to collect that content. So I'm excited to show you all the new forms integration right in line in Teams, or lists, I should say. Right here in lists, I can create a form, or many, for the purpose that I need people to fill it in. I can customize that form so it's beautiful, that it's got the right content. It's not just a column title, but maybe a question. I can decide to remove some content. I can decide to add new columns right in line in the forms experience. Now, when I take this whole thing and share it out, I can send it to anyone, and on any device, on any platform, anywhere, they'll be able to fill it in. When they do, it's going to be instantly put into the list. So I collect my information in a seamless way using forms. That should be pretty useful. Okay. 3 last demos on lists. And all about productivity. The first is this ratings control that we're introducing now, another type of information that you can easily see and set right in line in the experience. And of course, as you go and work with these calendar views, you know that a weekly view is super powerful, so we'll be introducing that shortly, including a way to see upcoming deadlines. But maybe the most exciting in all of this for me is in custom organizational templates. We're including the ability to package Power Automate flows. That means when you build a template, you can control views, schema, formatting, and the automation right from the word go. When someone in your organization makes a list, it has the full power available from the moment they start making that list. We think that'll make them that much more useful for everyone. All right, let's switch gears. We'll talk a little bit about OneDrive. Before I dive in too much to the feature side of it, it's actually worth noting in 2017, we introduced the new OneDrive web experience. We were really proud of it. It served us really well. But 2017 is kind of long ago, if you think about it. That's like 6 years ago. So we think it's time for a refresh. Introducing the new OneDrive web experience. You've noticed that we've kind of taken a step back to really think about what is the essence of OneDrive, and we've pared down the experience to simplify it as much as possible. There's a lot less geometry on screen, typography has been completely overturned, and it's much more legible. It's easy to flow and follow through. Our views, like lists and tiles, are now updated so that they feel that much easier, and we know they're that much faster to find the right content. And we're adding personalization to the experience. So when you create a folder, or on any folder you already have, you can set the color as well as the name, making it easier to wayfind through that experience the way you want to. This is one of my personal favorite features, so I hope you're going to like it. All right. Now, I had to show the visuals because most of everything else I'm going to show you is in the context of those visuals, and I didn't want everyone to be distracted with the visuals while we talked about the new features. But let's go through those. In our new OneDrive Home experience, we're adding AI file recommendations that are designed to bring the right file at the right time, right to your fingertips. And as part of that, we're also bringing in the full recent view. So it's really easy to get back to that content you were just working on, whether it was yesterday, a week ago, a month ago. With our filter pills, which you'll notice throughout the experience, it's easy also to filter down and just get to that thing. I know it was a PDF, let me go find that. Or with the word wheel, you can type down and get to those files that you needed to work with. All of this gives you this kind of custom experience around working with your content. Even things like being able to show you the task that you have to do on that document. So instead of just opening a document, I'm going right to the comment that's been assigned to me. I can reply to that, send it off, and I'm done. I can go to my next task and do my next work. In and out, as fast as possible. Of course, not everything is recent. Not everything is thought of that way. There are different ways people go and access or find their content. One of the most important ones in OneDrive is the people view, now completely overhauled in a new visual style that emphasizes rich kind of content showing through. It's easier to find the right PowerPoint or right document type in it, but also brings in those same filter controls. So as soon as you've learned to use OneDrive, it applies everywhere. I filtered down here to Lydia, and because I work with her a lot, I can pin her. Whenever I come back to the people experience, I'm going to see Lydia right at the top there. And if, like me, you work with folks who maybe share a lot with you, those same filter controls show up again to make it easy to find that right one file you wanted to work with. The overall experience of wayfinding by the people that you work with and engage with is that much easier to do. And if you think that way, it's a really powerful tool. I'll start that over. There we go. Meetings. So meetings view is another new view we're introducing here that includes both upcoming meetings as well as past meetings. Whether they're recurring and maybe I need to get back to a recording of a meeting I missed, or a file was presented or shared in that meeting, it'll show up right in line on that meeting. It's really easy to get back to content based on my calendar. Of course, I may be planning ahead. There may be a meeting that's coming up that I need to work with something. I need to do some pre-reading or perhaps create the prep myself. With the upcoming meetings right in line there, it's easy to get in and engage with all of that content. We think this will be a really useful way for folks to really kind of work through the things that are coming up. All right. Through this demo, I've shown you a bunch of things, and I haven't talked about some of the cool stuff happening in the background. Probably sharp-eyed folks have noticed. I will say there are cool things in the background we're not going to talk about today, but maybe it'll get you excited, you'll see them. But one of the ones that I do want to highlight is our new favorites experience. I click back. Oop, no, I'm clicking the wrong ways again. One more. Here we go. Anywhere in OneDrive, you'll be able to click on a favorite. And what that means is that when you click on that for a file, it'll show up right away in your favorites list. Makes it easier to get back to wherever you are. But we've noticed as we've actually used this internally, there's another cool tool to build on this, which is the ability to not just put something into a favorites list, but to actually put it in any folder in your system. So as you're working through content and you see something that's related to a project or upcoming research, it's really easy to stash it away as part of that experience end to end. When you see that file, you can select where it should go, and it'll be right there for you. And of course, one of the things that's always a property of OneDrive, when we build this in the experience, that means it shows up everywhere you work with those files, whether it's in Teams, Outlook, whether it's on the web, Finder, or Explorer on Mac or PC, or even on mobile. So wherever you find that file, you'll be able to favorite and retrieve it right away. Now, I also showed some sharing in this experience. I think it's worth talking a little bit about that. There's maybe only one dialogue that's used more in all of M365 than the sharing dialogue. It's an incredibly important one, and so we're not neglecting it for this experience overhaul. With sharing, we're kind of paring down to really focus on the core task, which is sharing to some folks. The same capabilities, the rich policies and controls, all the depth features are still available, but the experience is seamless and much, much faster to use. We've also been working on confidence. So you'll see things like little confidence reminders and notes as you go through, like copying a link to find the right one. And then when you take that link to go share it with someone else, we've gone and thought through the end-to-end of that, making link unfurling a seamless and frankly beautiful experience. You should always present your best self with your content, and we want to do that automatically for you. Now, that was going to be my last demo, and I'm probably over time. But the team asked me to do one more demo. This one's a little bit different. Everything you've seen is shipping this summer. What this is going to be, though, we'll have in public preview this summer. Now, if you've ever worked with a file online today, and it's a file that doesn't have the equivalent web app, you know the pain of that experience, right? Like download, and then you edit it, and then you save it, and then you go back and you re-upload it, and then after you've do you get a version? It's just awkward and uncomfortable. Our solution is open an app. Right from OneDrive or SharePoint, any file you see on the web, you'll be able to open it natively in a local app on that device. That means that if you've got that app you like to use, you prefer for it, it'll work seamlessly in it. In this case, I'm editing a PDF. I'm going to change the version number, and seamlessly under the covers, the OneDrive sync client makes sure that goes up. But this is the kicker. You don't have to be running sync. You don't have to be syncing that file to get this experience for any file you're going to come across in OneDrive or SharePoint. Now, refresh it. We'll go and look. We should see the new version number has saved up to the cloud. And yes, it has, so there it is. All right, so that's my last demo. I'd like to hand it off, though, to Denise Trebona, who is one of our M365 design leaders. She's going to show you some amazing stuff all about SharePoint. Denise?
Thank you, Jason. And also, hello, everybody, and I'll thank Jason for warming everybody up. Now I know what that 100% applause level sounds like. So I'll be looking for some of that during this presentation. Thanks. That's a great start. So as Jason mentioned, I'm Denise. I lead the UX design team for SharePoint, and I'm incredibly excited to talk to you about what's coming next for SharePoint. We have huge innovations that are going to enable you to create compelling and engaging sites and pages much more seamlessly, simply, and quickly in your intranet. And I want to talk to you about that word intranet. I hope in the next 10 minutes or so to redefine that word intranet for you. All right, we're going to be raising the bar on the user experience, and we're going to make that more aligned to your brand and culture, more reflective of your organization's identity. And we're going to be reducing the bar to entry so that more people can use the intranet for more scenarios during their everyday work lives. So let's get to it and take a look at compelling content. So this is all about raising the bar on the user experience and aesthetics in the product. Here you're going to see we're updating the visual presentation capabilities of SharePoint. And here's a peek at the art of the possible that shows what you're going to be able to create with these new design capabilities in SharePoint. You'll see you're going to be able to make sites and pages that are bolder, differentiated, and more sophisticated than ever. And we're focused here on key elements of grid and layout, typography and branding, color, fonts, animation and motion, and images and video. And all of this is built on the Microsoft Fluent design language. So your sites align and integrate well with other M365 apps. And we're bringing this into the product in a seamless way. There is no classic to modern upgrade moment. SharePoint is going to just keep improving as you use it. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at this site. So right away, you might notice something different about this site than the sites that you use today. It has a custom font. Yes, I call it BYOF, bring your own font to SharePoint, which I know people have waited a long time for that, so it's okay, you can clap. So this is part of a big investment for us in a new brand center in SharePoint. And the new brand center is going to help you achieve the look and feel you want by allowing you to specify your fonts, your colors, your icons, your illustrations, your brand imagery, and any other assets that are important to you that reflect your brand's identity. And Brand Center will support multiple brands, whether you need to brand by product line or division or subsidiary. And we've heard you that properly expressing your brand helps employees feel more connected to your organization. And so we'll also be providing a place for guidance and the guardrails that your team needs to maintain alignment to reflect your brand correctly. Oh, thank you. Okay, as you've just seen, the most compelling pages have impactful and eye-catching visuals. So let's look at new ways you can use images and video in your pages. Here, I'm going to show you the all-new image editor. This allows you discrete adjustments to get your images perfect, making color adjustments, adding filters, and adding text overlays to your images that you can drag and drop to place anywhere you'd like. Now, we've also added shape cropping, which I think is a really delightful detail. This provides more options for you to put visual interest into your pages and have a little bit more white space and also have a little bit less boxy look and feel. All right, and so let's also talk about video. Video increasingly is important to you as communicators, and we're introducing a new set of video-optimized templates. There'll be a hero template, a gallery template, and a playlist template. Now, these are all going to be available from SharePoint, but also directly from Stream. So you can easily create video-rich sites and pages. You'll be able to start right from your meeting recording and turn your latest town hall into a beautiful and information-rich presentation. Now, this focus on video also includes a new Stream web part with playlist support, chapter support, transcripts. This is the best and intelligent video experiences from Stream, seamlessly integrated into SharePoint. Okay. Thank you. All right, so creating rich layouts like those we've been looking at means bringing a lot of content into your pages. And that can be time-consuming. So we're adding new capabilities to make the product really shine when tackling this frequent task. We're investing in a new content pane that will make it easy for you to drag and drop recent and relevant content directly into your page. Thank you. Yeah, this will make your authoring much more efficient. But going a step further, just like design ideas in PowerPoint, SharePoint automatically can suggest a variety of well-designed layouts to make beautiful pages easier than ever. Thank you. All right, so that's how we're raising the bar on presentation and media in SharePoint, but I also want to talk about how we're going to lower the bar to entry. Simple and more intuitive authoring is how we'll expand the number of people who consider themselves intranet creators. We're going to be doing this in a couple of different ways. First, we're introducing a new start page for SharePoint. It's filled with inspiration on what you can create. Notice how this is speaking to the everyday needs of employees with newsletters, event announcements, and project tracking status. These options include single-page templates, which can be created as personal pages, so you can get started quickly. Thank you. And this is a place you can return to. You can find your drafts in progress. You can find previously published pages. And you can see the analytics for the engagement and collaboration on your content as well. So we're really excited about that. But that is not all. Today, we are introducing, as Jeff mentioned, Copilot in SharePoint. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to show you very quickly how, with just a description, with my own words, I'm going to be able to create a whole SharePoint site. So I'll say I want a new employee onboarding site, and I'll provide a PowerPoint file. So here I clicked on Create with Copilot, and you can see site creation in progress. I gave it a document about the onboarding site. I named a person I wanted to see featured on that site. And right away, very quickly, super fast, you can see it created a beautiful and engaging site for me quite easily, quite quickly. Thank you. All right, so now this isn't done. It's definitely a starter site. But it saved you hours of time and gives you confidence that you're using the best of the new SharePoint. And Copilot sits alongside me while I configure this site. So you saw there at the end that theme changed over to Indigo. If anything is not quite right here, I can continue the conversation with Copilot and continue changing and refining and updating. But also, Copilot can assist with more frequent tasks as well. So I don't know how often you found yourself staring at a blank page, wondering about writing a headline, and thinking to yourself, how do I get started? And you probably already have content that you've written elsewhere. A lot of internet content is repurposed from an existing document. So Copilot can help you with this as well. So you can see here, I'm in Copilot and I'm on a page. And so here, I'm asking Copilot for help with creating this page. And just like that, is going to take my document and create content out of it. It's going to pull together the web parts, the images, and the words into this beautiful page. And you can see that now that my copy is on the page, I realize it needs some adjusting. And Copilot is right here to help me rewrite this copy until I'm happy with it. And I can, accept those suggestions until it's done. Now, also, you can see that Copilot is capable here of also intelligent design suggestions. So here, Copilot gave me some links, and it gave me some images, but I wasn't pleased with the layout, and so I was able to ask Copilot to make that section more beautiful, and it was able to do so. All right, thank you. That took a lot of work to get there. I really appreciate your patience, and we are so excited for Copilot and what you're going to be able to create with Copilot and the feedback you'll give us to continue making that better. We did definitely kind of a recorded version of these demos for Copilot, but I'll also tell you we actually have real live working code, so it's pretty exciting. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled programming, I hope. This is our fourth and last stop on how we're simplifying authoring for you. So we know that great intranets are a team effort, and we're doing 3 things here to make SharePoint more collaborative. First, simplified page sharing. So this is going to be as easy as sharing a document to share a page with your collaborators. And once invited to the page, we are introducing co-authoring to web pages. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm super excited for this one. So this is going to make it much easier to collaborate and make content together. You can do that simultaneous page editing, but also, as you saw here at the end, the third thing, we are introducing inline commenting and reactions. So you can leave asynchronous feedback for each other as well. So this is going to be huge. Most web pages really are a collaboration and pull content together from multiple people. And so this is a game changer. All right. Thank you. for your patience through that whole section. So that was how we are reducing the barrier to entry. But SharePoint is not only for creating content, it's also for generating engagement and reach with your audience. So that's why we built SharePoint News, which drives over 1 billion impressions a month of SharePoint content. And you rely on SharePoint to be integrated with the rest of M365. So what we're doing now more than ever to ensure that your content reaches your readers in the flow of work. So let's talk about how SharePoint content shows up in email, Teams, and Microsoft Viva. Here, I'm going to show a new capability of SharePoint News. We're going to see how you can send the full content of news right in email. This is not a snippet. This is going to be the entire post. And SharePoint's going to take care of making sure that it looks great. So you don't have to worry about that. And your readers never leave Outlook, and SharePoint is going to ensure that the view counts and analytics also stay up to date. So we've been using this ourselves at work, and this is really transforming how we share project status and news and really getting more people reading our content. This is great. Thank you. And also, recently, we have connected channel templates to SharePoint. So Teams templates can include pages. We also enabled the ability to edit a page directly in Teams. And so once that's published, you're going to be able to see that SharePoint page as a tab in a Teams channel, another important way SharePoint sites are reaching people where they work. And another way we generate engagement with other parts of M365 is the integration with Microsoft Viva. Microsoft Viva is an employee experience platform that brings together the tools and applications you need for communications and feedback, analytics, goals, and learning. And Microsoft Viva also includes powerful tools to generate reach and engagement for your intranet content. In fact, one of the best ways of accelerating the return on your SharePoint investment is to deploy Microsoft Viva as your employee experience platform. You can learn more about Viva in tomorrow's keynote, but for today, I'm going to touch on some key Viva apps that relate to SharePoint and your intranet content. So first, Viva Connections is an app that serves as a gateway to all your employee experiences. It's frequently serving as many customers top of your intranet portal because it can generate exposure to your SharePoint content right alongside a dashboard of other tools, apps, and Viva experiences that employees need to get their job done. The Viva Connections feed features your corporate news prominently, and resources and search and connections makes your sites findable. And second, sharing your organization's SharePoint content to Viva engaged communities and storylines encourages social interaction with your content. You can share a page to Engage right from SharePoint, and Engage will show you a rich preview. And when Viva Amplify is available later this year, it will enable you to cross-post communications across multiple M365 apps. Email, Teams, Engage, and more. It's going to bring all of the apps of Microsoft 365 together to help you orchestrate communication campaigns. And it includes premium analytics as well, so you can measure your outcomes. So I'll say it again. One of the best ways of accelerating the return on your SharePoint investment is to adopt Microsoft Viva as your employee experience platform. And speaking of platforms, let's talk about how developers continue extending the SharePoint user experience. We will continue to invest in templates and site scripts for programmatic control over your site definitions. We will continue to invest in the SharePoint framework, not only for web parts, but also for apps in Teams and Viva and other areas of Microsoft 365. We will continue to invest in the graph for data access to all the content in SharePoint. So the key theme here is consistency and continued investment. As I mentioned earlier, there's no new dev model, even as we innovate in the user experience. And we will continue to invest in our existing dev models based upon your feedback. All right, so let me recap this section about SharePoint for you. I shared with you innovations that will make it simpler for you to build more compelling and engaging SharePoint sites and pages on your intranet. We raised the bar on user experience and lowered the bar to entry. We introduce new scenarios so more people can use the internet for their needs of their everyday work life. This is a very special moment in SharePoint's history, and on behalf of the team, I want to say I'm so grateful that you were here today to help me unveil it. We cannot wait to see what you'll create with the new SharePoint. Thank you all, and thank you for bearing with the demo gods there. Now I would like to welcome my colleague Sesha Mani to talk to you about Microsoft Syntex. Hey, Sesha.
Thank you,
There you
Dennis.
go. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. That's better. Yeah. I'm Sesha Mani. My team is responsible for security and management for SharePoint and OneDrive. Before I get started, I have a quick personal favor. Want to take a quick selfie with all of you. You can stay where you are, and I'll just count 3, 2, 1. Just wave the hands. Yeah? Is it okay with everybody? Yeah? Let's do it. I'll do one section this side, one section that side. Okay? Let's start with this side now. This is for my daughter, by the way, because she didn't believe me that I'm in Vegas presenting to you. She was thinking I'm here for gambling. So, all right. 3, 2, 1, please wave the hands. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And now this side. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you. Now let's talk business. I am thrilled to be here to share with you upcoming capabilities in Syntex and security and compliance. Let's start with Syntex. Microsoft Syntex is content AI integrated into the flow of work. The product truth of Syntex is AI, automation, and management that are helping to lighten the workload. It aims to simplify the business processes like contract management, invoice processing, and many more across all industry verticals. Let's dive in. To start with, let's see how Syntex enhances the value of your content by synthesizing knowledge and infusing intelligence into your daily business processes. To illustrate that, let's take our favorite company, Contoso Energy. Megan Bound is a supply chain manager working at Contoso with multiple suppliers like Northwind. She has a need to create contract agreements with all the suppliers that are supporting the project Solar 2025 called Project Apollo. Let's see how Syntex helps her to achieve that. She has 2 tasks to complete. Create agreements. Second of all, get those agreements signed. Okay? First of all, to create agreements, she wants to create a template. For that, she turns to Syntex Content Query. And then using Northwind as a manufacturer, she narrows down to the past Northwind contracts. Using those as the source of the template, she is creating the modern template. Then she adds, using Syntex snippet library, additional clauses, such as protection of confidential information and no-pause terms. Then she adds additional fields into this template. For example, vendor name and solar panel images. Now, the beauty is, she can now connect these to an existing SharePoint list that is already blessed in Contoso so that it can automatically bring those values, right? Then she verifies the fields that are automatically extracted by Syntex, reviews the classes, fields, everything looks good. She's now ready to publish the template under the name vendor agreements. Now, using this template, she can now create agreements for all the suppliers. For that, she navigates to vendors view, select all the vendors. With one click, create documents. All the agreements are now created. Okay? Now the next step, which is, yes, please, go for it. Yes, go for it. Don't be shy away, right? Jason already told you what is the 100% upload looks like, yeah? Okay, let's see how many I'm getting. Next one is, now that the agreements are there, we want to get that signed. For that, let's take Northwind supplier, right? She clicks on the agreement, and then using Syntex e-signature as the choice, she's now selecting Sandy from Northwind as the signer and Joe as her additional signer, which is her manager. Now note that these contract agreements stays within the Microsoft 365 trust boundary of Contoso. That means only the intended audience can open it. So here, Sandy is able to open it, and she can even annotate right there in the browser experience, no add-ins required, and then reviews the contract and signs it. Megan now receives the notification that all the signers have completed the task. She has one last thing to verify. She wants all these signed documents to be stored and preserved in a Contoso compliant library. She reviews the library settings. Sure enough, sensitivity label is set to highly confidential, and it's retained for 5 years. That matches the Contoso's policies. Syntex just took care of it for her. So what should have taken weeks and days, with Syntex, she was able to complete in minutes. Now, if you notice one other interesting point, the e-signature source column, not only Syntex e-signed documents, DocuSign and Adobe signed document are also brought back to this compliant document library. Thanks to our partners DocuSign and Adobe, we are integrating Syntex end-to-end intelligent and secure document workflow with their e-sign products and bringing comprehensive and durable values to our collective customers. Not only supply chain managers like Megan, but Syntex empowers all business users who deal with documents and uplift their productivity. How cool is that? You like it? Now, you may wonder, as an administrator, how am I going to manage these Project Apollo-like sites and the sprawl of external collaboration that are happening in my organization? Syntex can help you with that too. With our new offerings like SharePoint Advanced Management, for short we call it SAM, Syntex Archive, Syntex Backup and Restore, Syntex can help you manage the content at scale. It gives you a panoramic view of top sites and top collaborators in your organization and allows you to take appropriate actions. For that, let's turn to John, who's the administrator of Contoso Energy, and let's see how Syntex helps him. So here, John receives a notification from Collaboration Insights. It gives him a real-time view of top collaborators and top sites. He receives an alert that, hey, Project Apollo is a top secret site, but it is the most externally shared site. And sure enough, when he checks in the data access governance insight, he can see 264 sharing activities. He verifies the device policy and sharing policy. He decides to initiate site access review with the site owner, Megan. Given the oversharing nature of this site, he wants to take it one step further. He wants to restrict access to this site because he knows Project Apollo is all about Contoso and suppliers partnership, right? So he restricts to the Contoso Partners Security Group. So with few clicks, what used to be a portion of the Project Apollo site overshared, he's able to bring it to properly shared site. He then reviews last activity column. There are several confidential sites that are untouched for years. So he wants to turn on site lifecycle management policy for inactive sites and chooses to archive these inactive sites using Syntex Archive. So with these few actions, he's able to harden the security posture of Contoso organization, while at the same time saving money for Contoso Energy by moving these inactive sites to low-cost Syntex Archive. How cool is that? I think you can do better than that. This is not 100%. That's 100%. OK. Now let's switch gears to the broader security and compliance offerings that transcends Microsoft 365 to your broader security needs. We offer comprehensive protection and governance capabilities through our product portfolio that spans across Microsoft Purview, Microsoft Defender, and many more. And today, I am thrilled to share with you 2 new additions to our product portfolio. To start off with, adaptive protection. With the AI and machine learning, we are taking protection to a whole new level. Protection is now adaptive. It analyzes the data activities across all users, across all Microsoft services, and determines the risk level of individual users and applies appropriate policy actions in real time. Let's take a look. Here I have two users, Alex and Nancy. Both of them belong to the same team. In fact, they have access to the same information. They have same scoped user policy. But when Alex opens the document to print it, he gets blocked with override. Nancy gets blocked outright. So why is that? Well, behind the scenes, adaptive protection detected that Nancy recently shared large volume of files externally, and her pattern of accessing sensitive content has changed drastically. Hence, her risk level elevated, she got blocked. Now, you may wonder, how can I enable this impressive capability in my organization? Well, just navigate to Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, and with one click, you can turn on adaptive protection. But even better, your existing static DLP policies, you can now make them adaptive. Yes, you heard it right. Your existing static DLP policies, you can now make them adaptive by adding a condition for user risk level. That's how simple it is. Yeah? You like it? Standing version. Thank you very much. All right, you want more?
Yes, please.
All right. Last thing I want to show you. Okay? It's the last demo of the keynote, so let's finish it strong. Microsoft Security Copilot. When it comes to cybersecurity and defending against cyber criminals, we got to always keep in mind whom we are up against. We got to move fast. Microsoft Security Copilot is the first security product that is designed to empower defenders to move at the speed of AI. It actually radically accelerates defensive capabilities against threats. It allows you to get critical insights when you need them, and more importantly, right, it can actually help you to anticipate and act before the attacker's next move. Okay? If you have ever worked in Security Operations Center, you know it is very chaotic. You have more open browser tabs than you can count, incidents and alerts popping up all the time. Security Copilot is different. It helps you to simplify and focus. Let's take a look. At the center is the prompt bar. You can ask any security questions in natural language. For example, what were the recent security incidents in my enterprise? You can even drag and drop code snippets, files, URLs, and ask, are there malicious activities in them? What you input here is under your control. Your data is your data. This is because transparency is built from the ground up. Well, Copilot doesn't, here for example, it is giving me a summary of a vulnerability and clearly indicates where the source is from. Either it is internal data or external sources. If it isn't useful, I can change the prompt, and then the response will get updated. If it is useful, I want to share with my team, I can pin it to my pin board. Copilot doesn't always get everything right. For example, here the generated content refers to Windows 9, which doesn't even exist. So AI-generated content can make mistakes. We made it easy for you to share your feedback with us so that we can make Copilot even better collectively. And I have one last thing to show you, reversing. By reversing, I mean dissecting a malicious PowerShell script to understand what it does. My rusting skills are a little rusty these days, so I turned to Copilot. I gave it a malicious PowerShell script, and I asked it to reverse engineer, and this is what I got. Very nice, step-by-step, pictorial view of what happens inside the script. When I saw Copilot could do something like this, I felt it's a game-changing moment for our industry. With Security Copilot, you can do in minutes what used to take all day. Now, that's all I got for today. And I'm hopeful you are so excited as I am with all these capabilities across Syntex, security, and compliance. Thank you very much for your time. I'm now going to bring back Jeff on stage. Thank you.
Thanks, Sesha.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Well, thank you all for being with us this morning. Hopefully you see we are committed, perhaps a little over-committed, to innovating faster than ever for all of you and taking advantage of new experiences, the cloud, and AI to continue to do our best work for all of you. In case you missed anything, or the fire hose was just a bit much, or you want to share with others in your organization, we just dropped 6 blogs covering all the news that we just shared about SharePoint and OneDrive and lists and Syntex and more that are available online. And to share more about what we're doing for the rest of the event, I'm very excited to bring back Caruana. Caruana, please join me.
Hello, thank you, Jeff. Another big round of applause for our presenters, and especially Denise. Thank you. A lot of hard work goes into that. Really appreciate all your flexibility as an audience. We're going to have a fantastic, great rest of show, and I want to take one moment to thank all of our sponsors who make this show possible. Thank you to them. Please go visit them in the expo hall. We have a little break for you, and then our community booth is going to open, and so many amazing sessions. But I want to remind you, we're all going to be here. If you have a question, ask us. We have great takeovers going on in the expo hall. We're really happy to talk to all of you, so make sure we get to know you during the rest of this conference. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all for the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.